All right, welcome back, YouTube. We're up to day 25, which is going to be our last day. There's actually not that much to do. We're set up to run Cirrus Woke. I would like to buy the 2 fragments left for Uber Elder just so that people can see me do Uber Elder. Although I wouldn't bother having that be part of my day if this was me actually playing, because I don't know, I think Uber Elder is super profitable to watch. To do. I don't think he's super profitable to do, but for the sake of showing that we've made a good endgame character with a lot of power who can actually do these things, we'll buy them and do it. Other than that, I want to at least set my Atlas up to be able to do a good farming strat, and like, you know, sustain things and run maps for profit and whatnot. We've already got 3 exalts, 100 chaos, and another at least 3x, if not 3.5, sitting there. So we've got quite enough money pretty much to do a full re-roll into a brand new character already, if that's what we wanted to do, including this is probably another 900 or so chaos, and this is probably 900 or 1000 chaos ish worth of just splinters and stacked decks if I wanted to sell those. So there's plenty of money. We've got tons of money, which is good. Means we could comfortably restart a new character after today, if that's what Working Class Exile wanted to do, or we could go into like proper ridiculous min-maxing for this build, which we've shown and will show today. You definitely don't need to do this. Is already way enough endgame power for everything, but some people really get off at super min-maxing a build, and you could triple its DPS if you wanted to put 250 exalts into it. So that's up to you. Other than that, I think we'll hit the go button and get started. And start. I noticed that I spend way too much time trading for low-cost trades. We say it's the lowest worth of trading the first few weeks of the league. It changes constantly. Right. I was going to buy a few more maps. That was the first thing I wanted to do. So I want to set up burial farming because I really like burials. So I need mineral pools and peninsula. Mineral pools and peninsula. Do I need anything else from this area? Yes, crater and mud geyser. Where is it? Crater and mud geyser. Mud. Is it just those 4? Crater, mud geyser. Yeah, it's just those 4. Characters I haven't done all. I haven't watched the videos. I've definitely had some deaths. 44 times. I haven't been like specifically trying to avoid deaths. I mean, I sort of have, but sort of haven't. I mean, I try not to die just because it's not fun to die, but I haven't been building like it was hardcore. Alright, is this guy gonna sell me 24 chaos worth of maps? Come, buddy. I dare ya. I dare ya. The guy's not gonna sell me the maps, is he? How about this guy? Nope. Not him either. Oh. Oh. There's the first guy. Nice. Sir? Crater, mineral pools, mud geyser, peninsula. He probably just saw crater and then just pulled one out and didn't read the actual message.
Hello.
I know, because that's what I've done before. Goodbye. But now would be when I would also, if I was going to continue playing this account for the entire league, now would also be where I would start being like, okay, are there any long-term challenges that I might have to start working towards? Right, magic, so you're fine. You're fine. Mineral pools has to be corrupted and rare. We only need the awakening one on that. So it's only mineral pools. Come on, baby. Boom. Perfect. 300 Uber Labs. I literally would never do that challenge. Personal problems, but I hate Uber Lab. Or just lab in general. I think lab is just garbage. Okay, we're going to run these four real quick. Portal scrolls? Did I change filters?
The unrighteous will be turned.
Pretty sure portal scrolls should not be showing on my filter. Oh, I accidentally changed it to general mapping. Boy, there we go. Some examples in this build of like super min maxing is there are like 40-50x Watcher's Eyes we could buy, Clarity Mana as mixed with like something for Zealotry or something for Wrath or whatever. There's 40-50x weapons up for sale for this exact build that actually do make a difference and really do cause a lot of damage up. We could get those. Even a really good like great cluster jewel to replace our just okay cluster jewel, something with like scintillating ideas and whatnot, would be 5 or 10x. Like there's always something we can do for the build, but we've already got it into such a powerful state that it can do everything in the game, which usually leads me most of the time. That's the point where I'm like, well, that character's done, right? Like if I've got another goal that isn't building the character, I'll keep working on that on the character. But if I don't, I'll usually just be like, okay, well, that was a good character, and then make a new one, right? But that's just completely dependent on what you like to do. Right, we could get a elemental weakness curse on our gloves, and we could use woke curse for the curse on hit, so that we could get 2 curses on bosses and things. Like those are other options. Like there's plenty of things that we could upgrade if we really cared to spend that much money. But the truth is, this game lets you become about 400 times more powerful than you would ever need to be if you're willing to invest that sort of money, and I just don't see a need to invest that sort of money for the most part. What does taking that gem out do? So that's the Archmage gem. And it just lets me pump out all my brands without a mana cost and then put the gem back in to get the damage back. Something I've started doing at the beginning of maps because otherwise I have to plant one brand and then like wait a bunch for the regen. It takes too long and annoys me. My normal mana cost is 6.9k. And I don't want to pay that to put out a bunch of brands. Whereas if I take Archmage support out, the mana cost becomes 250 and I can just spam all 6 brands out. And then I never need to recast them again because of brand recall. So if I start like this, then I've got one brand and I have to wait for a little bit of regen. There's my second one. Wait for a little bit. There's my third one. Now I'm full again. There's my fourth, fifth, sixth. Right, now I can start going. I don't know. I just find that a little annoying sometimes. So I'll hover the gem. Using any range cluster jewels. The profile is public if you want to look it up. It's just Bala Mage 2 instead of Bala Mage. I can't remember now. Zoom doo doo. Real quick. Yeah, it's fine.
This is your eternity.
Oh, since a few people were asking in YouTube comments, these gloves that I got recently, these are the real ones that I actually got. Holy crap, they've been helpful. These are compression gloves from, I ordered online from a company called One Compress. It took a while to get here because they come from China and everything was locked up. But holy crap, have they been useful. They've been so good. Probably cut my hand pains down to about 20%. Like, they've been really helpful. So if you happen to play a shit ton of PoE and it makes your hands hurt, try a pair of these. Also worth mentioning, absolutely not sponsored, although I wish that they were. I've been trying to get in touch with them. I want them, but we're not sponsored. They've been very good. Called One Compress? Yep. Did we make it? Did we make it? We're still missing something. What are we missing? Pier. Do I have a pier? Here. Damn it, I need to buy... Oh! What are the chances? That's actually great. What the fuck? You think this league will go core? I goddamn hope so. This has been one of my favorite leagues.
You've already done this before. You are caught in a loop.
Oh, did I just see a lag spike? That's the first like lag spike looking thing I've seen since we got a Vulcan client. Personally, don't think it will. When's the last time a league that they made didn't go core? Synthesis. Yep. Synthesis didn't go core. What was before that? There was Beast 3 didn't go core immediately, but then quickly afterwards became core. Basically what I'm saying is for something not to go core, it has to be very hated by people. Like it just has to have not gone well. And this went well. This went very well. Triple burial. Let's go. What build is this? Can you share it, please? Yes, this is a Archmage low life Stormbrand build. And if you check,
Glad you made it back, Exile.
sure, 28 of the last 22 of the last 24 videos that were uploaded on my YouTube. There are links to all of the build guides in the descriptions.
How are your maps?
My personal preference, and this, everyone's gonna hate this and they're never gonna do it. There's zero chance that this gets done. My personal preference would be to rebalance the entire game as if we were in 80% Delirium and then remove Delirium. The reason I loved Delirium is because it made the game hard again. And I want the game to stay hard. I wanted them to take Delirium away because it's the only way to get difficult mapping. I would like 80% Delirium all the time. But what I don't want is the fog everywhere. Perry! Thank you very much for the raid. How you doing? But yeah, if it were purely up to me, the entire base game would be redone to be at 80% delirious difficulty all the time. My character improved. Nice. And in answer to how many people do I think would quit? No, I mean, tons of people would say they quit. In fact, tons of people might even uninstall the game. But like always, whenever 2/3 of Reddit all at once goes, I fucking quit, they all come back.
Your life will end and you will be
all of them.
forgotten.
Like 99 out of 100 people who rage and quit are like back the next league. Like, like basically that threat holds no weight with me. I call bullshit. Build looks insane. It's pretty good. It's been done on 90 minutes playtime a day, so it's not as powerful as it could be if I was, you know, doing it on my main account or whatever. Bum bum bum.
Time
Has no meaning here.
Your pain will be endless. Be judged! Lonesome!
See, killing her under fog is way more fun. We want fog.
I thought myself better than
That's
you.
like 60% fog. She lasted a few seconds. That was good. 80% would have been better. Ah, there's the fog. It's catching up. All right. I'm a little foggy on how to do that
Glad
fight.
you made it back.
Ah, nice. Dum, doo, dum, doo, dum, doo, dum, doo, doo.
Nothing you have done was real.
Any righteous will turn to ash, to ash. Alright, I've had enough of you. I just really hate Cassia's voice. Oh, more lag. On the Vulcan client? Is that FPS lag or actual lag? Oh, that's FPS lag. Oh. Am I not on the Vulcan? That's twice. That's twice. Someone remind me to check after this map. Oh shit. No, we did it again. Wait, is that actual? What's happening? Am I dropping frames on stream? No. Were those real latency issues? Hang on. Bollocks. I was talking to someone and not paying attention. Yes, I don't know, like 45 or something. Damn it, now I gotta run all the way there. Do I have room for a cast on death portal? No. Oh well.
I shall cast
You into a pit of infinite tortures. Hi.
Kirak sent you.
Need a map?
What do you remove the gem? It's Archmage. With the Archmage gem in, it cost me 6.8k to do one cast. If I take Archmage out, I can put all 6 brands down and then just put it back in to get the damage back.
Learn anything new?
It's called Gem Hovering. Right, here we go. Cirrus 8.
Did you really think this would work?
I think I did that
Cirrus,
without
please,
all my
I want to
auras.
help you. Don't do anything
That last
hasty.
boss, I did that without all my auras. My bad.
As easy as flicking a pest.
No! Kirak!
How boring and small. You want the Atlas? Take it.
We have HP now instead of full shield. Yeah, I forgot to put all my auras back on.
I will burn
So I was
the
missing
ground.
like
Perhaps
Wrath, Zealotry,
suffering
and
of
Pain
my
Attunement.
fellow citizens will finally stir something.
My bad. I thought the fight took a little longer than it should have.
Pointless. Creation itself. Glorious
Flame!
A real challenge. You've finally caught my attention.
What's the point? Bad habit from the Herald build. I just want to like run into the center of the storm.
The others found strength
I'm
in
just
their
like,
projections.
just let me in, just let me in.
They became reliant on them. I am not so foolish.
Duty and crumble. It's so
Is life really interesting enough?
to warrant all this pain.
There is only horror. Watch.
Duty crumble. I still haven't used a single flask. Ooh.
The edge of death, my heart.
Quick regen out here, thanks. Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh. Oh, that's where he is.
You will long for non-existence.
I felt something.
Booming? Nice. That's one of the expensive watchstones. And you're all garbage?
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Cirrus, this was all my fault.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Cool. Well, that was Cirrus 8. Xena, true villain. Xena's been the true villain for a while. I don't think there's a world in which Xena doesn't end up as our enemy at some point. Like, surely everyone sees that Xena's our enemy, right? Okay, so that's that, and then that's that. And so now, tier 14. Okay. Should we finish up a few extra maps? Shouldn't need them, to be honest. So what I'm doing now is setting up my Atlas for Infinite Burial Sustain, which I also did a YouTube video on earlier this league. Zoom. Yeah. Okay, so what's that one? That one down there. That one, I don't really want any of them. I don't really want any of them. But I could use, I guess I could do Toxics. Toxics are pretty good. We could double in on Toxic. Now, what I need to do is just pull out some tier 14 or 15 maps that are okay. Preferably 14s if we've got some. Grab 2 of them. We'll grab anything remotely okay to run. What is okay to run? Strand. Strand's good to run. Underground Sea's good to run. Volcanoes are good to run. Even Graveyard's okay. I don't really like it though. There. That should be a decent enough pool. Yeah, we're literally just gonna Alk and go this set. This is just to get us. I'm gonna use auras when you're mom. I don't have mom. But I do have a shield that gives me blood magic, and my 3 auras in that, plus another aura in blood linked to a blood magic gem in my weapon. But I am not Mind Over Matter. Okay, so we'll really quickly just drop all these in a tab. Because I'm too lazy to read. Reflect. Physical and physical. Fantastic. We can do Reflect Fizz. All right, let's go. Knock him out. This will also get us some dailies that we would be then able to use on our maps that we decided to farm. There's got to be like 100 different Atlas strategies you could possibly run. This one's just my preferred one this league. Doesn't make others wrong, but you should definitely pick a strategy and try and run that.
You are empty.
Yeah, I only know about this one in Towers. Is there a list of strats? Not really, because they change every single league. But like, it's a relatively simple thing to work out when you think about it. Like, what's something else people were running a lot of, like Malformation? So is there a strat set up for Malformation to run properly? Sure. Tropical Island, people really liked that. That was a thing people were running and really enjoying, and it was dropping a lot of splinters. Is there a strat for that? Absolutely. And once you know how to run one, like my Burial Chamber strat, as long as you understand why it works and aren't just parroting it, right? Like if you're just copying it from me, it'll work. But if you take the time to like understand why it's working, and if you don't understand why it's working, then I didn't do a good enough job explaining it, and that's on me. But if you understand why it works, then you can figure out how to get any map you want. Right? Then there's other things that are more advanced, like not completing maps to begin with, so that you can have more of a woke Atlas. Or there's strategies to like infinitely farm tier 7 burials, but it's straight Alk and go. Or people who want full awakening bonus all of the time, so instead of just running one map, they run 3 maps, and they pick a tier 14, a tier 15, and a tier 16, all in different regions, and then run those so that they can accrue better master missions and better rewards and better things from the boss kills, and then they run 3 different maps instead of 1. Like, there's a ton of different things you can do. Tons. What auras am I running? Zealotry, Wrath, Clarity, and Discipline.
I will never stop searching for that which sends you spiraling into the abyss.
This is my favorite volcano layout, and also the rarest. Man, I'm not getting the map drops I want. Feels bad. I mean, I've ran 2 maps. 2 maps. Calm down, Mela. Also, another idea would have just been to just straight up buy 20 burials and just never have to start my own pool at all. Just straight up have them, which is a legitimate option.
As a traitor and
There
a
was hope for you
tyrant.
before. No longer.
Since they're removing Archmage ability to work with brand skills, do you think that's likely? Well, I mean, removing its ability? No, not at all. That would be ridiculous. Doing something to it? Definitely yes, because Bex already teased that. Although we don't know exactly what they're doing to it. We do know they're doing something to it. Zoom, boom, boom. At some point, I want to say 4 days ago, Bex tweeted at Zizaran, and all she said was, "What does Archmage brands and dinosaurs have in common?" And that's the tease. That's all we've got. The assumption is that they're both extinct, right? Like that's. Has there been any kind of hint on Cyclone? No.
A party of 4 criminals, each with the mark of the fortune.
Dum, 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 dum.
You can't leave this dream.
I don't think it would no longer be playable. Hopefully it's still playable. It doesn't matter. Archmage Brands is not that much better of a build than the original brand build that we used to play. Just the Inquisitor low life version. So if they nerf it too much, we'll just go back to playing the Inquisitor, and the playstyle is exactly the same. You still just get to run around. Like holding just your run button and everything dies. Perhaps the main differences are early League, the Inquisitor version is much squishier, but late League, the Inquisitor version is much tankier. They both do similar damage early League. Archmage definitely does more in like the end of League min-max style gear, but you can still easily get a 100 to 150k tooltip on the Inquisitor version, which is still more than enough to do everything in the game. We've only got 100k on this build right now. So when we're talking about it being weaker in the DPS, is it true that it's weaker in the DPS? Sure. And by an important amount, yeah, you'll probably only get 1.5 million DPS per brand. So maybe you've only got 3 million DPS on the Inquisitor. But it's important to know that 3 million DPS is still disgustingly good just because you can't get the 80 you had on the Inquisitor and like single on the Hierophant and like single tap Cirrus phases. Doesn't make it a bad build. 3 million is still more than enough. Right? I'd go as far as to say that the Inquisitor version is actually probably a more well-rounded build than this version is.
Your life has been one
Because it's got
long
really good
ride.
defenses and is quite tanky as well. Whereas this one's a little on the squishy side even now. It survives mostly because it kills everything very, very quick and has really, really, really good movement. Basically, realistically, 1 million total DPS is enough to do every single thing in the game comfortably. Not just do it, but do it comfortably. So if you've got a build that can reach 3 million, you're doing quite well. What makes the Inquisitor so tanky? It does the Shav's low life version, and you use a Kalava Jewel to block cap, and you get a heal on block, or an energy shield on block shield as well. You also have constant consecrated ground, a lot of regen, a lot of leech, complete penetration. Lol, he said penetration. And usually quite a bit more energy shield than this build's got, actually. Also, it shatters everything, which is pretty cool as well. This build does not. But the Inquisitor version shatters everything because it wears one Call of the Brotherhood. So you don't have to shatter everything, but I will. No block on the Crusader Center. Where does the block come from? The tree and a Kalava Jewel. Kalava doubles your block chance, but you take half damage when you block instead of instead of no damage. So you only need to reach, what is it, like 38% block or something, and 38% spell block or something like that, and then slap a Kalava Jewel on, and then you're block capped. Now this would result in the same amount of damage taken, because while you become block capped, you take half damage when you block, but then you mix that with you gain 5% of your energy shield when you block shield. And what's important about that is those things happen at the same time. So if you take a hit that you block, and at 50% damage, it does 102% of your total life pool, but you did block it, but its total damage, like you blocked it, but its damage after block was 102%. Then you will end with 3% of your life because you took 102% of your life, but at the same time healed for 5. So it actually is not only just healing against like long-term small damage, it's actually a extra effective maximum life as well. Like it's the block mechanic and the guaranteed energy shield on block thing is quite a powerful mechanic. Some block is Shaper. Shaper or Hunter? Is it? Maybe it's Redeemer. You actually enjoy the brand playstyle? Yeah, it's probably my favorite. Fucking quills. See, the Inquisitor would not have a problem with this map because it would just shatter them all. Do you not enjoy the brand playstyle? I tend to enjoy mostly passive playstyles, minions, brands, totems. It's fair. I also don't enjoy minions or totems. Brands don't really, I don't know, they don't feel as passive like those other builds. I guess they are, since I just run around holding left click. They just don't feel that way to me for some reason. That now, as I say it out loud, doesn't make any sense.
Criminals, each with the mark of the fortune teller, hunt through dreams for their prosecutor.
Look at all those dailies I'm getting racked up. Fantastic daily missions. Do love me some daily missions.
You are lost in the middle of the jungle.
What is it usually called Magic map? That's every brand build, but yes. That's the brand playstyle. You should, every brand build should be built like this. Thank you for the raid. How you doing? Return to Ash. And the unrighteous will turn to ash, to ash.
The blight is trying to spread.
As working class, this is the final episode. We actually are done with, well, not completely done with the Atlas, but we've got it in a very workable state for endgame. We've done Awaken at 8, we've done pretty much everything. I'm going to buy some Uber Elder fragments in just a minute and run that. So that, just so that I've run it for the video. I loved Warb as well. Warb was fantastic. I know it needed a nerf, but what they did to Warb seemed very unjustified. Are you going to do a YouTube series off this? I've done a YouTube series off this. Called Working Class Exile. It currently has 24 episodes on YouTube. This will be the 25th. I think 25 was the right amount of episodes because it's definitely like, it had very, very heavy interest at the beginning, but the interest has definitely waned down quite a bit. Can you go through again about setting up the burial chambers? Sorry to ask. I most certainly can. Exclamation mark sustain. That's how. This man's got a command for everything. Hopefully. But the series will have an uptick in popularity early next league. I kind of, and I know that this isn't true. Like, I get that the point of YouTube is that it's evergreen content and that it exists forever. But I feel like in PoE, that doesn't seem to hold true. Videos that are a few weeks old, no one just looks at all, ever. Like the amount of times that views change on a video that's more than 2 weeks old on my YouTube channel is minuscule. And yeah, I think just because it's PoE content, it doesn't really get the same as other builds. Like I more often get people commenting on like Grim Dawn. Patch number and titles is the best way to kill your video. I actually should start putting patch numbers in titles, or at least league numbers, like, you know, 3.10 or 3.11, because it's not like I'm not after the views. The views get me money, and I do like money, but more important is not misleading people. So I don't like, I want to earn money by providing value, not by tricking people. That makes sense.
Oh. It's put out new mycelium.
Good regular reviews and positive new content, for example. Huh. Twice today, I learned by a video that had 3.10 in the title, but it was actually an edited title and the video was through 3.7. See, that upsets me, right? Like, that's an annoying thing. Because here's what happens with that. Any experienced player who was just looking for help on a specific build that they hadn't played before isn't falling for your shenanigans. They're not getting tricked. You know what you're doing when you do that to people? You are taking new and therefore vulnerable people and scamming them for views. And if you do that, you're an actual cunt. Because what you're doing is hurting the new player experience rather than... Ooh, hello. Right? Like... Let's just update all of the content and repost a video. Yeah, no, I'm perfectly okay with... Like, reusing old content is fine if you take it down and update it. Take out the parts that are now wrong, because that's how things work. Stuff that you used to be right is now wrong. Take out the parts that are now wrong, reintroduce them with parts that are now correct, and then re-upload the video as a new updated version. I'm on fucking 100%. Do it. We need more information, right? But to just like, and I've seen a lot of it on YouTube. There's a lot of people, there's people who release guides for patch notes we don't even have yet. There's people who just reuse a guide from 3 patches ago that they literally change nothing about, and they just put it up there and hope that it'll get, you know, views. And it bugs me. It bugs me when you do that. When people do that, it's just, ugh. That's why I'm also not against clickbaiting. I've discovered that I'm actually perfectly happy to make a clickbait thumbnail or title, so long as the clickbait that like tricks you into watching the video, so long as the information in the video is actually valuable. If I'm clickbaiting you into it and you watching it will benefit you, then I don't feel bad, right?
You will be captured, stupid beast.
The information doesn't pertain to the clickbait. I'll hate you. Yeah, but that's wrong. Like, I'm trying to, for the Atlas guide, literally I've watched every single Atlas guide on YouTube. Every single person is doing it wrong. Okay? All of them. Everyone. For mine, I'm trying to think of the most clickbait title and thumbnail that I can possibly get. I want the most amount of people to click on that video, because I know the Atlas strategy I'm using is better than the one everyone else is using, and I want to give it to as many people as possible. So I feel okay trying to come up with a clickbait title for that, right? Like, that feels okay. Everyone else is doing this wrong. There's your title. I thought about that, but I don't know if I want to, like, publicly shit on everyone who's made a YouTube video about it. I don't know. That sounds mean, and, like, I don't want to be mean. And there's a part of my head, there's a part in my head that's like, what if I name the strategy something that's got my name in its, like, name? Because I know it's better and it'll take off, and then I can have people saying my name all of the time, right? Say my name, bitch. Not a bad idea. We'll have to figure it out because it's going to come out probably a week before the new league.
Glad you made it back.
Thanks for the divine orb.
Stay sane.
Announcements today. I just saw the date. Tomorrow, right? Well, tomorrow for us. Probably like... Now this is a guess, but I would say around 14 to 16-ish hours. Yeah, about then. Dougie and I are guessing the same amount. They don't actually have a specific time, do they? It's just that that's the usual time of day when we get that sort of information. I don't think they actually announced a time, did they? They did? Ooh, okay. 7 a.m. Sydney. Holy shit. I better get up early. I do feel way less guilty about using clickbait titles because I'm making videos to help people. Yeah, so the difference behind... I think clickbait is fine, and the intent behind your video is what matters. Am I making videos to help people, or am I making them only to help myself? There's always a bit of it that is to help me, right? Like, if a video wasn't going to get any views and I knew that, I wouldn't make it, right? Like, I do have to help myself. I do have to... I'm trying to make a goddamn living here, right? Like, it has to be... Like, there is that. But there's nothing that would overtake, like, helping other people, providing actual value, right? Like, that's the number one priority. And then if I can find a way to do that and make money, then I'm going to do that because I like money and I really need it. Right? Like, that's the order of operations in my head. No press to announce 19 news outlets. Buggers. I lifted at 2 p.m. here. See you tomorrow. I am. Come on, enlighten. Boom! Oh, fucking read.
Two criminals carry the fortune teller's tools as they hunt for the body of their
begins. Okay. Before it gets too late in the working class exile, let's see if we can pick up some fragments, shall we? Middle band will this be named after? Alright. See ya. Alright, 2 more fragments. Right, so I need fragment of knowledge. How much are you? God, they're 140 chaos. I don't even have 100. I do. I've got so much money in splinters and stuff. Damn. I've got 9 simulacrums. So what we could do is we could sell 9 simulacrums for how much? Also all of these. Right, so stack decks are going to, oh fuck, I opened that one instead of pricing it. Lol. So first we're gonna sell simulacrums. Exact price. I need to check what their price is. Fine. Simulacrums. Okay. 100 chaos. There's 900 chaos in simulacrums. Stacked deck. Uh, 10-40 chaos. 40 chaos a stack. No, that's wrong. 40-10. That's better. Now we change zones so those become for sale. Does that tries to make a difference when selling? It's supposed to, but not really, no. It is supposed to. Right, real quick. Where's what's-her-face? It lets me turn in cards. Oh, I've never turned in a card. Okay. Where is she? Helena, Cassia, Thane. Wait, did I not stop? Did I never get... Oh, there she is.
Welcome. So you finally...
That's slightly better than last time.
See you.
Okay. This 100C is the regular price now? Yeah, that should be gone by now. I was after selling them in a hurry. 95 chaos it is. Also, these can become 30 chaos per turn. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Is Armageddon brand Archmage a thing? It could be, since we get like almost all of our damage from Archmage and not the actual brand itself. The problem with Armageddon brand has never really been its damage. The problem with Armageddon brand is as you move across or as the mob moves, this is the mob. Yeah, this one with 2 fingers, that's the mob. Whoop. As the mob moves with Armageddon brand attached to it, Armageddon brand decides to attack, triggers, and then waits to fall down. So if the mob is moving at all, it goes thunk and hits the ground behind it and chases it, but never actually does any fucking damage. Because it's a garbage designed skill.
You've already done this before. You are caught in a loop.
Oh god. No, I don't. It wasn't on. That was a good check though, because I sometimes put D&D on when I first look into this character so that I can like set up for the episode, but I don't want to trade people because that would be cheating. Does anyone still use Fireball? You still can for like Ignite builds. I still think something Archmage Winter Orb could end up being pretty good. Winter Orb's damage efficiency or effectiveness, whatever that stat is called, is disgustingly high. Meaning you probably actually wouldn't need to pump the damage up as high, like the cost up as high as you do with something like this. Maybe just no gloves and 1 or 2 fevered mines might be enough. The problem is how hard you'd have to stack duration to make it worth it, but I think it could be. With a 50% fire penalty, so I'd want to be able to channel it for like 3 or 4 seconds. So I'd want to bump its mana cost up a little, which with the damage effectiveness on that skill would be disgustingly good, but then not enough that I couldn't channel it for at least 3 or 4 seconds. It's very, very rare that you've ever got more than 3 seconds to stand still channeling anyway, and as long as you've got a bit of mana regen and stuff involved while you're running around and repositioning, it would still be doing damage anyway based on your high mana costs. I don't think it would be as good as Brands. I just thought it would be an interesting build idea, and I think it can be done. What is it, the effective time? It's listed as something like 60 something%, but it's like per projectile. It ends up, I think it ends up being the highest damage efficiency skill in the game. Like, I'm pretty sure by a long shot.
Are you the hunter, or
The problem would be getting enough mana to make Archmage worth it, and then 50%? Right, okay. But then per projectile. Which there are usually, what, like 7 of? Between a thing, so... It's pretty good, considering they all overlap and do single target, and... Like, it ends up being very, very efficient. And then the disgusting amount of that flat damage that Archmage adds, except times 2.1 then? The question really is, can you get the mana cost high enough to make that difference without running out of mana in 3 seconds? Because that's the problem. If you run out of mana, if you can't channel it for at least a few seconds, it won't be good, because it needs that. Like, it needs more than just keeping it at 10 stacks. It actually needs to be channeled on single target. You have to end up having enough mana and mana regen to be able to do that. It's 408. Jesus. Okay. How have those not sold yet? Are you kidding me? Are you actually having a laugh? I will sell them at 90 chaos. Those are staying at 3. I'm not. I'd rather open them. You only have 1 for sale? Well, I have the whole thing for sale. The whole tab is public and I only priced 1, but that should be right. Right? That should be fine. Chose 9 up for sale. Yep, cool. Yep, that's what we want him. The only other thing I really need to do is run Uber Elder, and I would like to sell off this garbage and run the Uber Elder just to show people that it can do Uber Elder, right? So I'm sure no one who's been watching the whole thing will think that it can't, but it's still something worth showcasing.
nothing you have done was real?
You still running Chain and Stormbrand? Yes. Chain is one of the highest damage supports that we've got as an Archmage build. Oh man. Somebody's calling me. I'm already the cheapest up there. Right. For some reason, the X listing are at the top. Okay. Even though they're more expensive. That makes sense. This one. Well, somebody wants to buy one of them. Lol. Thank you. Okay. Now let's go. Now, which pieces did I need? That one. That's called a fragment of emptiness. Yep, and those are cheap as anything. 28 chaos for those. Dum dum doo 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 doo. Maybe 30. Bum, bum, ba-na-na-na. 30 it is. And then we're after that one. No, I specifically have to avoid that. I have to buy them from the market. Thank you, though. Dum, doo, 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 doo. You want both? Dum, dum, doo, 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 doo. Bum, bum, ba-da-da. How many? Right, I understand the first 10 listings and whoever's first gets the trade. So you're part of the problem. Be part of the solution. Instead. Shift change for 1x. How much is an x? No change. Sorry. Out FC. I'd like to buy 5. Do I have 5 left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think so. 1 more. Sec. Spammed. Don't know how many. 1x and 50c. Yeah, that's fine. Close enough. I'm doing it and wasting someone else's time instead of my own. Yes, and everybody thinks that, and that's why you get your time wasted a bunch as well. Whereas if just everyone stopped thinking like that, and instead valued everybody's time, everybody would have a better chance. Dum dum doo 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 doo. This starting to pay now. I should have waited until PoE 2. You'll be waiting over a year for PoE 2. It is definitely worth starting to play now. Also, PoE 2 is really just another league. It's just a very, very big expansion / league, but it's still just another league. There's no reason to not play between now and then. Also, they keep pushing all of the updates. Like everything they get that would be a good quality of life, they keep pushing it as early as possible. They don't wait for PoE 2 to release cool updates and whatnot. They just do it. So yeah. Don't wait. You'll be waiting a long time for no good reason. See, I don't mind that at all. Was that him? And what's a good build for new players? Exclamation mark website. There are 5 build guides on that. Don't play the totem one. It's not as good as the others. My suggestion would be to pick one of those. Alright. Let's do Uber Elder. There's still time, right? Yeah, I got 3 minutes. Can I do Uber Elder in 3 minutes? Lol. I can't. We're gonna go a little over time. Just a wee bit. Maybe I can. There's no intro. Sec. Uber Elder. Oh man, I haven't done Uber Elder in forever. I mean, technically I did it just the other day on my Herald stacker, but I stood in the middle and held Spark. I didn't actually do any of the mechanics. Oh! I always forget that that beam is a little wider than it looks.
Gaze into the abyss.
we already here. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of lore around them. You're right, they are, but it's not that simple. Everyone remember when this was really fucking hard? Because there was a time. Boop. Bam. God, that was good. You get nothing, good day, sir. That's actually... Well. Yep. Okay. Well, that happened. Oh, I should trade this guy real quick. Still want? How many? I have 5. Just the one. Okay. I don't know. Obviously, I don't need the currency, but I should at least trade the guy who was waiting for me, so as to not be a cock. TY/DND, so no one else can try and trade me. And stop. All right. So that's the end of day 25. This is going to be our final day actually running and playing this character. We got our first actual Woke 8 Awakener boy. That was fine and deathless. We did Uber Elder. That was fine and deathless. We finished off a few more maps and got ourselves set up for Infinite Burial Sustain, which is what I would personally be doing next if I was going to keep playing this in a league. I'd be looking for some sort of Atlas strategy to get a lot of money out of a minimum amount of time, which is, I will link below the Infinite Burial strat that I used this league, because it was a separate video. Something like that will always exist. The Atlas will get shuffled around depending on what league you're watching. Shit will be in a different place and at different tiers, but something like that will always exist. We'll always be able to try and target down on a map and sustain that indefinitely if that's what we want. Otherwise, there's tons of other Atlas strategies. At this point, the character is now fully geared and capable of doing pretty much everything, which I have shown. We have 260 chaos and 4 exalts casually sitting there. In the sell tab, we've got another 4 simulacrums, which are 90 chaos each. We've got 150 of these, or whatever they are, which sell for 3 chaos each. If we were to bother repricing some stuff in here, we've probably got about another 100 chaos worth of things that need to go down in price just to get resold. So we're probably looking at somewhere around, if I spent 10 minutes repricing things, and then they sold over the next day or two, which they would if I actually bothered to have them priced and in a tab. We're probably looking at having somewhere close to around, I want to say 1500, 1600 chaos and 5 or 6x, something like that. So at this point, we're in a very comfortable position to re-roll a new toon if we want to. We're also in a very comfortable position to move forward with endgame things and farm maps and go to decide I want to farm up whatever it is you want to do, get a headhunter or min-max your build, or maybe you're just saving to grind, maybe you're grinding challenges. Like, this is the point where you're now at. This is endgame. You've actually made it into endgame now. Everything else was just getting here, right? This is now a proper endgame character with a proper endgame setup and power, and your Atlas done, and now we're into the grind part, whichever part of that is the part that you prefer. So we got 15 challenges along the way, just not even looking at anything, right? And then if that was the thing we wanted, there's a ton of really easy things we could get done. Vendor recipes, encounters, bullshit quests while leveling, use these currency items, just use one fossil, there's another one. Like, this could very easily defeat map bosses. We're already like halfway there, and we're not even a third of the way through the league. If we were playing from the beginning at 90 minutes a day, we're already halfway to that without even being a third of the way through the league. So a lot of these complete unique maps. Honestly, you'd go and do this if you were gonna stick around on that character. I'd probably buy the cheapest, 7 or 8 unique maps just to bump completion up because they're cheap and I might as well. So this is where you decide what you want to do. And since I can't do every single possible endgame thing all at the same time on 90 minutes a day, this is where you have to make your own decisions. So we've shown that it can be done. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll think up. I'm going to go through all of the videos in the next few days, write myself some notes, and make myself a sort of a summary and thoughts and what have I learned sort of video to follow up at the end of this, but there won't be any actual gameplay in that. It'll just be the last video tacked onto the end of Working Class Exile, which has been very fun to do. I hope people have enjoyed it. That's the end of it, and I will see YouTube people later. Goodbye.